Yep. Out in the garage today, kids. I haven't posted anything in quite some time, only because I've been waiting for the level of hypocrisy and contradiction, absolute and complete and total fucking stupidity and retardation to hit an all-time high. And it appears that we've gotten here, and it just keeps, beating the drum. All right, let's start in the beginning. First off, there's a difference between men and women, and this is a fact, psychological fact. For the most part, men are motivated by logic, is what it is. They're not truly combative, they're not truly confrontational. However, if logic is being thrown by the wayside, then the next thing you know, they're like, what the? And that's when it's a situation. Women are based and motivated by emotion. These are things we know to be true. This is not hypothetical. This is not made up. These are, once again, psychological facts we know to be true. And it's sort of funny because those little differences seem to separate the Republican and the Democratic Party. And one of the things is that there's a senator called John Kennedy. He's awesome. John Kennedy, Joe Kennedy. My man's an old school fucking Southern lawyer, man. He creates the illusion of stupidity. He creates the illusion of ignorance. And that is used as soon as you walk into that trap, boom. He does the cobra snap, cobra bite, snake bite, boom. It's over in a second. He flips the script, and he all of a sudden you realize, this fucking prick knows more than what he's talking about. What is that? Yeah, so you got Kennedy, logical, methodical. He's a setup man. He allows your words to defy your actions. He allows your words to then in turn basically choke you. It only takes him a minute or two until he will ask a question, you will give an answer, and he will show a situation that you've said or done however long ago, and it contradicts what you're talking about. Guy's a killer. On the other hand, coming out of the left side, you have people like fucking AOC, who is more motivated by emotion. When she wants to make a point, she gets animated. She starts talking like she's a fucking preacher at a church or something like that. And she just, and then basically goes on to say nothing. But it's so packed full of emotion, you can't deny it. Well, it's absolutely retarded. What the fuck is this? That's neither here nor there, but there's a new level of contradiction and hypocrisy that's really been cracking me up a little bit. It's got to do with the Save America Act, which has gotten through the House. Okay, there's a simple fact. Nancy Pelosi was much better at reining in all the Democrats so that, when she wanted something to pass, it got passed because, there had to be some threat somewhere to sway your vote. And I got to give her credit for that. That fucking little bitch was a goddamn sick beast, man. But she's out of here. They got Hakeem. He wants to be her. He ain't got the chops. Story for another day on that jackass. But the Save America Act, which sort of cracks me up because if you go back and you'll see video of, certain Democrats, whether it be senators, sort of like Hillary Clinton. It was funny. You thought she was a horrible candidate until you ended up with fucking Carmelo, who was an absolutely atrocious candidate from the party that really wants to be like, yeah, we're all about democracy. She wasn't elected to be the candidate from the Democratic Party. How can you be the party of democracy and you forego a primary for someone and be like, that's the one we want. Have that make sense. That was years ago. Don't give a shit about that. But it just sort of goes to show the level of hypocrisy and everything else like that. It cracks me up. So back to the Save America Act. You got Chucky right now, who years ago was pro voter ID. Now he's calling it, which is another thing that cracks me up, he's calling it Jim Crow 2.0. First off, there should never be a Democrat that talks anything about Jim Crow. Nobody needs to be reminded that Jim Crow, the Jim Crow laws down south, were democratic decisions, democratic laws. The southern U.S. back in the 30s and 40s, and even 20s, and right after the turn of the last century, that was all democratic ran. Those were democratic laws. Why would they continue to let you know that? Every time a Democrat says Jim Crow, it makes you go, oh, where did that go? And you take a 2-second internet search and there's 500 articles saying that it's a Democratic-controlled law. Jesus, fuck, you think they would know this. What else about the Democratic Party cracks me up is that they're calling this bill racist. The Democrats were pro-slavery. Everybody knows this. The Democrats were the South, the Republicans were the North. These are facts we know to be true. Why would they continue to bring it up? Huh, what else? Oh, what was the big arm of the Democratic Party where they're trying to accuse people of being white supremacists and aspiring to be KKK? Why would they continue this? The KKK was a power arm of the Democratic Party, where they would send them to the polls, they would send them to houses. These are facts we know to be true. So now they're trying to create the illusion that getting voter ID for an election of the most powerful person in the world, yes, the President of the United States is the most powerful person in the world. He controls the most powerful army in the world. And henceforth, then in turn, he's the guy. And the only reason that they're doing this stupid shit is because of an absolute disdain for a president that won an election fairly. He was nominated by the Republican Party and not nominated, but elected by the American people to run for president under the Republican Party, unlike the Democratic Party. And now they're bitching. Oh, it's not right, you can't do this. Well, what the fuck? Have this make sense to me. The level of hypocrisy, the level, I'm lost. I am lost. Please have someone to explain how this makes sense. The level of contradiction is just off the fucking charts. Ridiculous. I'll do another video explaining what I think that the Democrats... You know what? I can do it right now. Instead of the Democrats losing their mind about the Save America Act, here's a suggestion. And I'm amazed that no one's come up with this. I haven't heard this before. Which is sort of funny that, even the mayor of New York right now, Ramdani, he's against voter identification for voting, voter ID for voting. But he wanted you to have ID so you can shovel snow. Make that make sense. Here's, if there was any fucking intelligent Democrats right now, what they should do. Absolutely. Because, I'm sorry, you really think that Biden had 81 million votes? The most votes, the most popular president elected in the history of the United States. 81 million votes. Fucking Mr. Potato Head. You gotta be shitting me. flip the script. If you really want to do something, flip the script. Rather than bitching, start fucking voter identification drives. Start getting anybody that might be on the outskirts. Maybe they don't have ID. Maybe they don't, whatever. Like the fucking internet is everywhere. Start registering people to vote. Just an idea, just a thought. Out, bitches.